You or someone you love needs help for an addiction. Where do you turn? Foundations Recovery Network offers individualized treatment for the whole person. Our goal goes beyond short-term sobriety. We address substance abuse and co-occurring mental health issues together, providing a firm foundation for long-term recovery. The first step is often the hardest, but we're here with a free assessment, insurance information, and treatment options. Our confidential helpline is available 24/7, so call 877-714-1318 and discover the Foundations Recovery Network difference today.
That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
Emotional nudity. Yes.
Emotional nudity is the best.
Outstanding.
I love it. Gotta get real. Getting real with it. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Sober Guy Radio. Thanks to Humans for bringing us in, as always, and thanks to you for supporting the show. We're coming to you live from Innovations in Recovery Conference in San Diego, California, brought to you by Foundations Recovery Network, the amazing sponsor of Sober Guy Radio. Big thanks to them for bringing myself, the Sober Guy platform, as well as my beautiful wife and my 2 children out here to hang out for some good time by the beach and talk to some great people in the recovery industry. It's beautiful weather, as usual, and right now we are talking to Oriana Murphy and Bill Hazelton from Sober College and SoberCollege.com, and they're a young adult rehab center. Sober College is a rehab center for young adults that ensures a safe, sober, and supportive environment to achieve long-lasting success and develop the skills necessary to maintain sobriety long after they leave treatment. Oriana, Bill, it's great to have you on the show today. How are you?
Thank you for having us, Jane. I really appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so where are you guys based out of?
Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills, okay,
Woodland Hills, California.
So you're local then. So
yes.
You're not too
Southern
far.
California.
Southern California.
Yes.
Awesome place, man. Awesome place. So let's start with you, Bill. What gets you into the recovery industry? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
That's actually a great question. I've been here at Sober College since May of last year. In recovery myself. 22 years in recovery.
Nice. Congratulations.
And that was sort of how I got introduced to Sober College. I come from a background of marketing, and I come from the advertising agency world, and haven't worked in treatment prior to my stint here at Sober College, and was introduced kind of serendipitously to the founder, Robert Pfeiffer at Sober College, and was sort of warned by my friends that were in recovery about working in treatment. You know, really? A lot of them had, worked in treatment.
What was the warning, kind of?
Stay away.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
intense.
Lots of experience with, good and bad, but, experience with some treatment centers and experiences that were, unscrupulous, working for some folks. So I was warned to make sure that you're lining yourself up with the right people, and
sure.
that they're walking the walk. And I feel like I've done that here at Sober College.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Oriana, how about you? What brings you in the recovery industry?
It's a funny story. I've been at Sober College for about 5 years. And before I came to Sober College, I had decided I wasn't going to work in treatment anymore. So I
over it. Huh? Does that kind of relate back to what Bill was saying?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay,
So I had an interesting story. I actually got sober while working in mental health treatment. So I got sober, and I'll be celebrating 13 years in about a month. So I'm 12 years sober. And
Congratulations.
Myself, thank you.
That's awesome.
I got sober about a year after college, and I was working in a psychiatric hospital, and probably should have been a patient,
Can you see the irony in that?
Yeah,
Those kind of stories I think happen often too.
Yeah. So I got sober, but I was like, God, I love this, and I love helping people, and I'm a clinician, so
nice.
I've always done that route, and it's cool to
You got some nice tattoos too.
Thank you.
I like that same kind of style, like the old school, like traditional. Yeah, it's like some stuff too.
Yeah.
One of the things I really enjoy to hear, especially and now with both of you, is when we take people that are actually in recovery and then we do work in recovery, because I really think that there's something different to taking somebody who may be trying to seek help, and that they can relate to somebody who's actually been through some of the stuff themselves.
Right.
So how would that kind of speak to you in some of the work that you do? How does that enable you to really, I guess, put your heart into your work?
Well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because I got to a place in my own recovery where I felt like, in my career I've made a lot of money and been successful, but that just wasn't enough. The stuff.
Yeah, the stuff.
It wasn't enough.
Yep.
And working with my sponsor, I felt like I was in a place in my career where I felt kind of stuck, and not really, I just wanted to do something more. And felt like I was in a place where I could do that it took me a long time. I'm kind of a knucklehead, so it took me a long time to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's, this to me isn't work. This to me is my path and what I'm supposed to be doing, because this for me is not the service stuff. I feel like this is a part of it, is my ability to tell my story and share my experience and to maybe help somebody else.
Yeah.
So my work is separate from my recovery. But I feel like this is, in some way, it is part of me being of service and being able to tell my story, and hopefully somebody hears something they can grab onto.
Do you find it hard sometimes to, or maybe finding it hard is the wrong way to kind of phrase it? Do you find that you have to be very conscious of separating your work from your own recovery?
Absolutely.
Because I think that could be something that could be tricky when you're doing this work every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I because I've worked in treatment longer than I've been sober, I've had experiences in early recovery, especially where I wasn't working on my recovery and I wasn't treating my alcoholism, and I was working and sort of confusing the two. And, I always tell clients that I work with too that end up working in treatment, they get that year, they want to go work in rehab somewhere, and I always say, like, the meetings you're taking your clients to, those are not your meetings. You may be going to 5 meetings a week, but you're actually not, and that was a piece, because I found myself caught in that and getting confused over what was what, and so for me it has to be absolutely separate, but they're so connected in that I'm a big believer in, if I'm not in all areas of my life doing something I love and I absolutely believe in, then I need to shift and I need to do something different. And that's actually why I've been at Sober College as long as I have, because I believe, from top to bottom, side to side, in my core, what we're doing, and it aligns with my integrity.
That's huge.
And so I think that's rare, And
I was just going to say, excuse me, it's extremely rare. Not everybody, I think this changes throughout all aspects of our lives as we continue to grow and get older and watch our kids grow. And,
absolutely.
But not everybody experiences that moment when they actually, like you said, Bill, I wake up every day and I don't feel like I'm going to work. It's not exactly what you said, but something like that.
Yeah.
It's true,
because I actually love what I do.
Absolutely.
Not everybody gets to do that, and I think you describe it great. There's a certain feeling that you get when you get that. So and I know obviously we can't advise somebody how to find your purpose, but when you found your purpose, talk about that a little bit.
Well, like I said, before I started working at Sober College, I said I wasn't going to work in treatment anymore. I made a really big decision. Clearly, I'm really committed to those decisions I make. And I actually, the opportunity presented itself, and one of the pieces that I saw was the feeling I got when I went and interviewed, actually, with our co-founder Robert Pfeiffer, who passed away this past year, and interviewed with him, and was like, God, this is so cool, and this is what I wish I had. That was like a big piece. I was like, man, like this was, because I got sober in AA. I didn't go to treatment, so I didn't have that experience, and so seeing that and experiencing that, and then this feeling I got, I would show up to work and I'd be like, God, like there's something happening here that I haven't felt before. And then the people that I work with, that was the biggest piece, you know. It's like, who am I working with? Are these people that I believe in who they are? Do they have integrity? Are these people I want to be? And so I think that was really it. Like, I didn't know walking into it that I'd found my calling. I mean, I have 2 master's degrees. I've worked in a million places. I'm constantly searching for what is going to fit for Oriana, every degree was really about like, what do I want to do? I'll go back to school. Why not? And so I think when I found it, I mean, every single person in my life has said to me at one point along the last 5 years, God, you're so lucky. You know, like I've never, like my father's always saying, I've never known you to be so happy in a work environment where you're surrounded by the people you love. I mean, everyone is, tells me that. Yeah. And I just got back from maternity leave. I had just had a baby, and I could not wait to go back to work, which is weird, right? Yeah. I mean, I miss her. It
depends how many diapers you're changing throughout the day. Like, that might be. Right. I know my wife enjoys going to work some days. She's like, I'm out of here.
Bye. But it was I miss the people. I came and visited one day, and I was like, I wonder if this is going to feel different now that I have a baby. And I showed up, and I was like, I miss these people. I miss being here. Like, I felt rejuvenated and alive. And I'm like, God, like this is my job. Like, I get paid to do this. That's weird, you know?
Sometimes, I'm like, wow, I get paid to do this?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's, I didn't know that that's what I was walking into my purpose, but there's no question,
Bill, what's one thing for you, man, that is like crucial in your recovery, just on a daily basis, maybe something that's important to you? Or
well, I think
I'm sure there's a plethora of them, but what's one that stands out?
Well, for me, it's remembering on a daily basis of I have a gratitude list, and that was something that I was taught early on in recovery, and I said, that's ridiculous. I mean, but today I think about, I really try to keep it simple and think about how fortunate I am. And, on my gratitude list are things like indoor plumbing.
Yeah. Seriously.
Right?
Yeah, the little things.
Things like that you don't think of, but I try to simplify it for myself, because I have this life that is, if you look around and see where I came from, I just have an incredible life. Yeah. I have my life is, there should be background music playing in my life. It's just a good life. I forget that. I forget that.
Though,
I do.
Right? When we get caught up in the day-to-day grind of everything.
And that's that alcoholic thinking.
Totally, man. Totally.
And so I have to be mindful of that on a daily basis of, to remember to take a look around, to be present. And that's a challenge for me, being present and being, absolutely. I'm not a grateful guy. That's not my normal state of being. So I have to actively step into that on a daily basis.
Consciously, right?
Yes.
You're like consciously making an effort.
Absolutely.
Maybe even intentional. I like that word too, like being very intentional about it. And sometimes, like for me, like I get resistance from that. Like that little thing up there will say, no, you don't need to do that right now. And I'm like, dude, I know I do inside, but just leave me alone. I'm going to go do it anyway.
Yeah.
So let's talk about sober college a little bit. I didn't go to a big college. When I think of college, obviously you think for me, I think of like a university, right? The general college thing. What's the age group again?
18 to 26.
Okay, so like I said in the intro, that crucial young adult age. I can't speak firsthand because I didn't go to a huge college. I have friends that did, and I've heard stories and all that stuff, but the drinking culture is huge. Absolutely. I know it's a huge part of it.
Right.
What are you guys seeing with that coming into sober college, and how does that kind of integrate?
Well, it's interesting. So we're treatment with college. So we're getting a lot of our clients are either failing out of college, right? And we're kind of getting them back in, and then we're seeing them go out again into the college environment. A lot of times we're recommending that they go into community college first to kind of get their feet wet, and then they're going into a 4-year university. But we try and connect them to programs also collegiate recovery, because a lot of schools these days are building these collegiate recovery programs. And I know at USC they have one, and we've had clients that have gone, what's that school in New Jersey that has I can't even think of it right now, but that's sort of one of the things that we're training them and educating them. Rutgers, thank you. Yeah, we're educating them on is they're with us for a long time. We're minimum 90 days, but most of our clients are with us anywhere from 9 months to a year and a half.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're seeing the full course from residential treatment to step down to step down to step down.
And they're actively doing. They're actively doing work in their courses and such as they're doing treatment.
Yes.
Correct.
So
dude, that is like amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they're
very different.
We have a partnership with Woodbury University, which is a private liberal arts school in Burbank. And so we have 5 courses, Woodbury courses, that are taught by adjunct Woodbury professors on site.
Really?
So they're actually attending courses. If they do all 5 classes, they're getting, a semester's worth of credit, WASA accredited classes that they can transfer anywhere, whether it's general ed or elective credit. They're bringing with them, so they actually get this experience of being in a classroom, learning, doing well. They have an academic coach who's helping them, meet whatever their assignment is, and
without the social pressure,
without all that
let's
stuff.
go get hammered because that's what everybody's doing.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's a lot of it. What it is, it's like this culture that is created.
Oh yeah.
That if you don't do that, you're kind of left out in some instances. A lot of young adults feel like that.
I went to college in Miami. I mean,
so you had a good time.
I guess that's what they say. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, we're creating this environment where, for them, I think the academics becomes very important, and so they're like, oh God, I want to show up for this class, and I want to learn more, and I want to continue doing well. And so when they take that next step into either community college or four-year university, whether they're going to Woodbury after, the focus is a little different. It's no longer on I can't wait to go to college and party.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have some sobriety under my belt. I have some goals. I have something I want to work towards. I want to build a life that's worth staying sober for, and they have that first, and then they can go out in the world. And I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the idea too of kind of incrementally. We even talked to our niece about that. And I think she's ended up going. She's going to go to Sac State. At one point, though, it was the question of maybe you do just go to a community college just to kind of get acclimated to it because it's such a big jump.
It's a huge jump.
Like going from living in with mom and then in high school, and then all of a sudden you're out on your own. You have all this responsibility, and then back to the social pressure.
It's such a strange system. I mean, in hindsight, like, what were my parents thinking? Exactly. I'm 18, sending me across the country. It's like I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. So how does somebody get more information and start to look into sober college if they were interested in doing that? A parent or a young adult?
Well, we've got a great website. Sober College. That's where I would start. And I think the message from me is do your research. Check out the website. Talk to other parents. That's something that I'm a big believer in. That if you're going to do this is going to be the largest, the biggest healthcare decision for your kid. Since he was born, he or she was born. So make sure that you do your due diligence and talk to parents and talk to families that have been through the program. And that's just me as a buyer, as a parent, talking to other parents, saying whatever you're going to do, whatever option that you have, do your homework, kick the tires, go see the people, look them in the eyes. Because
check it out.
It's really, really important. I think just as a parent to because I try to view it. I come from a family of alcoholics and addicts. So I understand that dynamic intimately, and I think it's really important to make that connection as soon as you can. It's really important to do that, and whether or not you decide to come to us is less important than really making that decision and that connection to the community. I think that's a big part of accepting the reality of the situation. So I'm really adamant about that. I mean, we get a lot of kids that come from, most of the clients come from out of state.
Really?
But but it's still, in my opinion, it's really important to see the people and meet them eyeball to eyeball.
That self-advocacy or family advocacy, I guess, then you're really looking into what and kind of educating yourself about what's going on. How does the program work? What about funding? Like, for if someone was interested in, is there resources for any type of funding? Is it insurance based, or is there grants or anything like that?
Well, we do take insurance, but we're an out-of-network insurance provider, so there is an out-of-pocket cost. We do have scholarship funds available, not for everybody, but for income challenged families. We do have programs that we're willing to take a look at. And at the end of the day, for us, it's we're not a nonprofit, but if we we will move heaven and earth to try and work with a family or a kid, if at all possible. Because we're all, and this starts from the founder, and Robert and Mindy. If the family's committed, if the kid is committed, and we want to help them, we will do whatever we can to help the family. And I've seen that. That's just not talk. That's something that I see demonstrated every day.
Well, especially because we're long term, so we're essentially saying it's minimum 90 days, but we believe that it takes a year and a half. I mean, the research shows it takes up to a year and a half for the brain to even heal.
Oh, yeah.
So what we're saying is, like, we're this is a commitment, right? So like you need to look at that from the beginning. Like, is this going to be something that you can do long term? So how can we help you do that?
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's good too that you're up front and you address it like that, because
no secrets.
Quick fixes doesn't work.
No.
I mean, at least in my experience, it's never.
We all tried them.
Yeah, exactly. I've tried them many times,
Right.
and they may have worked for a very short term, but no. So when you look at it from that perspective, like, this is an investment in future. This is an investment in a better life. I think that it's kind of a no-brainer on that aspect. So, Oriana, Bill, it's been really great to sit with you, chat a bit. It's sobercollege.com, right?
That's correct.
If anyone else wanted to reach out to you directly, how could they do that?
They can call me directly. I can give you my number, and that's how I prefer to work with folks. Great. Is you can call me directly. It's a 24/7 gig, ultimately, and that's how we prefer to talk to families, is one-on-one.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend.
All right. Well, it's great to have you both today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and we will.
Thank you,
we'll
Shane.
see you around the show. Innovations in Recovery 2017, Sober Guy Radio. Check out sobercollege.com. Thanks for tuning in today. Peace, love, respect. Keep your blood clean.
Thanks, man.